Shalynne Vilela was a 22-year-old girl. She had an absolute horror story experience with the healthcare system in the U.S., and I want to share it here with you guys. So she hurt her knee while she was playing Wii. I think she was playing with her brother, sibling, or something. And it hurt, but she didn't think much of it. And then she just went about living her life. She ended up taking a vacation with, I think, her boyfriend. It was a 22-hour drive to Las Vegas. I think they were going from Missouri to Las Vegas. And she found that her knee pain gradually escalated to the point where it was just absolutely excruciating. So when that happened, she went to the emergency room, and she told them about it. And she said, hey, this pain is like an 8 out of a 10. It's really bad. It's bad, bad, bad. Now, as she's explaining this to the people in the emergency room, they ask her, well, do you have insurance? She doesn't. So what does she say? Well, look, I don't, but I'm in a lot of pain, and understand it is the law. They have to help you no matter what. So, but they described to her, okay, look, I mean, we can help you, but it would be much better for you financially, if you basically leave here, buy health insurance, and come back. That's what they said to her. Again, she's describing to them, all right, but I know something's really wrong. She was studying to become a nurse. So she's like, I know something's really wrong, and again, I'll tell you, the pain is like 8 out of 10. So now Raw Story picks it up, and they explain to us some of the facts. They say, if the staff at Centennial Hills, that's the hospital, had taken Shalynne's medical history, they'd have found that she had sickle cell anemia trait and PCOS-induced obesity, and that she smoked cigarettes and used the NuvaRing contraceptive. These are all risk factors for deep vein thrombosis, as well as the 22-hour drive that she took where she didn't move much. So what they did is they put her in a brace. They sent her home. And when she, got there, she signed up for Medicaid, but there's a process. You got to wait for the paperwork. She got the paperwork. And she died in the process of waiting to basically sign up for Medicaid. They say, quote, Shalynne had suffered a pulmonary embolism, a worst-case scenario where a clump of clotted blood lodges in the lungs. You know where this doesn't happen? France. You know where this doesn't happen? England. You know where this doesn't happen? Canada. You know where this doesn't happen? Australia. You know where this doesn't happen? Every other modern nation. Because that's not a thing. If you show up and you're hurt, they give you help, and then when you leave, you owe $0.00 because it already comes out of your tax dollars. It's a given. As they say in the great movie John Q, sick help. Sick help. That's the way it should work. But no, in the U.S., well, we have a for-profit system, and the insurance company's got to get their cut. So what are you going to do? Oh, you show up and you're in 8 out of 10 excruciating pain? I'm just going to let you know. I'm just floating it. Let me just tell you. I just have to tell you. It's better off for you if you go home and, get some sort of coverage and then come back. I'm just trying to help you out. How about we put people in a position where that's not a thing? Now, doctors describe in the article, too, they're like, look, that's technically, you're supposed to help them immediately no matter what. But what happens is oftentimes in emergency rooms, people will do what's called a wallet biopsy to figure out what the financial situation is of the person in front of you, to figure out their health insurance situation. And, basically you take people based on their monetary situation and not really based on their need. Well, this is the result of that. Oh, so this person is not monetarily exactly ready, even though they're in excruciating pain. Hey, look, I'm just trying to help them out when I say you should probably leave and get insurance. Guys, this is immoral. This is unethical. And the rest of the world looks at us with shock. They're like, how do you let that happen? That's amazing. That's amazing. Meanwhile, just for example, we spent $1.5 trillion on the next generation F-35. 1.5 trillion. You heard me right. Not billion, trillion. On a fighter jet. Because, the other ones weren't good enough. We spent $6 trillion. When all is said and done, when you stretch it out to 2053 and you add the interest on the war, and you add the fact that we got to keep paying for the veterans' health care and everything, $6 trillion on the Iraq War. That we can afford. That's no problem. I don't know what the problem. What are you talking about? $80 billion a year is a subsidy for Wall Street, even though their own decisions are fucking up the world economy? We can afford that. No problem. Clean water, though? What, you want clean water in Flint? Piss off. We don't have the money for that. You want to make it so that when somebody, gets sick, they can get help and they don't have to worry about the financial situation? We don't have money for that. Look, we can't afford it. Guys, I want you to know, we can't afford what every other modern nation somehow is able to afford. Like, those are the arguments that get me more than anything else. The ones, it's just the lazy, parroted talking points that never made any sense and are nowhere near true. How can we afford it? How can we afford it? I don't know, stop the military-industrial complex, stop the pork barrel spending, stop the endless corporate welfare, stop any of a million different fucking things and afford it? I mean, again, every other modern nation can afford it, but we can't? Are we really that stupid? So, okay, if that's your argument, that's your argument. We're just too stupid to figure it out. We don't know. Everybody else can get it, but we just can't get it. Gosh, this is so hard to do what every other modern nation does. Number one, best country in the world, but we don't know how to give people health care. She doesn't have to be dead. She doesn't have to be dead. She died. This is a scandal, and nobody is treating it like that. Nobody. We all pay our taxes. Don't you want to prioritize what your tax money goes towards? Number one on my list might be healthcare, man. I don't want anybody getting turned away. Hey, man, it'll just be better off for you financially if you go home and fill out the thing. But they're in pain. Give them help immediately. And I don't want you to go bankrupt either. And to be fair to the people at the emergency room, they obviously didn't know she was going to die. And they thought, I'm just trying to help her out financially. But that system is broken. That system is broken. It's not like the people in the emergency room are nefarious assholes like, whoa, I need people to die. No, it's that the system is broken. It is a rotten, grotesque, disgusting system. We have to change it. We have to change it, and we have to change it now. And meanwhile, what are our two options? Dumbass Trump was a repeal and replace Obamacare. Repeal and replace with what? To get rid of the lines around the states for health insurance? That's not going to fucking fix anything. That just makes it so the health insurance companies go to the state that gives them the lowest taxes. That's all. That's not going to help anybody. So repeal Obamacare. Okay, so then we're worse off yet again. That's Trump's idea. That's all I got for you. But Hillary, bad. And what's Hillary's idea? I don't know. Maybe public option I'll push for a little bit, maybe. Even though she didn't want to do that, but then Bernie pushed her to that. So, okay, is she going to actually push for that in office? I don't know. But let's be kind to her and say she is. Even though I don't necessarily believe it, but let's be kind to her and say she pushes for public option. That's still not fucking single payer. That's still not single payer. And that's the answer. So none of our choices even push for let's get the correct answer. None of them. No candidate is saying, well, then there's Jill Stein, of course, of the Green Party, and she does say this, but unfortunately, it's going to be either Trump or Hillary that becomes president. That's the sad reality. I'm in New York. It's a safe state. I am going to vote for Jill Stein, but I understand she's not going to win. She understands she's not going to win. So, but the two viable options, Hillary and Trump, none of them are saying, you know what, this is stupid. Let's do the right thing. And by the way, even if you want to do the right thing, like Bernie Sanders did, for example, there's no guarantee you're going to get it. By pushing for the right thing, you might end up with a compromise that is something like the public option. And that Bernie understood that because he gets how politics works. He wants single payer. He'd do everything he can in his power to get it, but even then he might run into the opposition of the Republicans and the numbers just don't add up and you got to do public option and it is what it is. But we don't even have anybody who's running in the general election who will fight for the correct answer. And they want us to get excited over Hillary. They want us to get excited over the political process in the U.S. It's time for the people to rise up, man. They could be out there, oh, no, this is the real scandal. Oh, look what happened with Kim and Kanye today. Ha, 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 ha. This is the news. Hashtag CNN. CNN tweeted something the other day. Looks like there's an angel in the sky and the cloud shaped like an angel. Oh, let's talk about this for fucking 24 hours. A woman died because our healthcare system is broken, and this is just one story. I wish I could get all the stories and give you all the stories so you understand just how big of a scourge this is on the country. We got to fix the system. We got to get single payer. We got to get money out of politics to allow us to push for single payer and have a shot at it. Because right now with health insurance company being dumped into both parties, health insurance money, I should say, being dumped into both parties, they're going to protect the health insurance companies no matter what. The for-profit rapacious sharks that don't need to be there. They don't need to be there. They're an unnecessary middleman jacking you for your hard-earned money. Let's catch up to the rest of the modern world and stop the madness.